You're the answer to every aching question my body asks, every longing that settles under my skin when the world goes quiet. I reach for you not just with hands, but with breath, with the hush of night folding itself around my chest. I think of you in pulses, in the beat between heartbeats, in the press of silence against my ribcage. My body without you is a storm with no thunder, just charged air and waiting. But when you come close, when your heat brushes mine, my questions find resolution. My hips no longer ache, they rise. My lips no longer part with sighs of emptiness, they open for you. You are the reply written in sweat and sound, in the arch of my spine and the flex of my thighs. I don't need words when you're near. My flesh speaks in trembles and moans, and you understand every one. You don't hesitate. You listen with hands, with mouth, with presence, and you answer in ways that echo through me for hours. Every nerve in me remembers your response. Yes, here, now, again. You never speak over the question my body forms. You wait, you listen. My breath becomes inquiry, my gaze a sentence, my hunger the punctuation that lingers unsatisfied until you lay your hands on me. There's reverence in the way you answer. You don't rush. You give space for the ache to rise, for the need to bloom until it pulses like a secret begging to be confessed. And when your fingers graze my skin, that's when I know you heard me. You felt the pull beneath my clothes, the tension threaded through my shoulders, the prayer pressed against my thighs, and you respond with patience, with heat. Your lips press against my sternum like a seal, an oath. You murmur along my neck until my questions spill from me in gasps. My moans rise in search of you, and you meet them with your body, your rhythm, your relentless devotion. You trace the answers along my flesh with your tongue. You mark me, not with bruises, but with recognition, proof that you saw, that you knew, that you came to give. Each night I come to you unraveled by questions. Why does my skin feel too tight, my breath too shallow, my thighs restless with need? But you never ask for clarity. You simply gather me into your hands like a song you've memorized, reciting it with lips, with tongue, with friction. You drag the edge of your mouth along the curve of my shoulder, and let your teeth answer in soft pressure. You whisper against my collarbone, your breath sliding down like answers I didn't know how to voice. My body pulses in your hands like it's been waiting to come alive again. The ache turns into fire, and you coax it until it becomes a storm. You don't just quiet the questions, you rewrite them. What begins as desperation becomes delight, becomes surrender. My moans shift from confusion to conviction. I stop asking why, and start begging more. My body your canvas, your map, your favorite secret. You read me in gasps, respond in strokes, and by the end there's nothing left to ask, just answers soaked into the sheets and skin. In your arms questions lose their edge. The ache that once dragged across my bones becomes desire shaped into rhythm, into poetry of movement and sound. You cradle my unrest in your mouth, turn my doubts into whispered yeses along the seam of my thighs. I come undone for you, because you never flinch at the need I show. You welcome it like worship, like something sacred. You look at me with that fire in your eyes, the one that says you see more than curves and skin. You see the questions that live underneath, the ones that claw for meaning in sweat and breath. And then you answer them, not with promises, not with lies, but with your tongue tracing every syllable of my need. You press into me until there's no space left for doubt. My back arches, and you meet it. My cry breaks and you catch it. Every tremble I give you becomes part of your reply. You don't calm the storm, you become it. My body screams for truth, and you come bearing it in heat, in hunger, in relentless reply. I never knew my body could ask so much until you touched me like it was fluent in longing. You brought out questions I'd buried under quiet nights and false smiles. Suddenly my skin was loud, insistent, raw with curiosity. What would your hands feel like here? How deep could your mouth go there? What sound would I make if you touched me like that? You didn't flinch. You answered like you were born for this, like you'd studied the script, written in the rise of my chest and the slip of my breath. Each stroke, each kiss, was punctuation. You turned my body into sentences of fire and completion. You peeled away every layer, until only my core remained needy, wet, throbbing, and you answered it with your tongue, your teeth, your moan echoing mine. We didn't need dialogue. Our bodies conversed in sweat and sighs, in the push and pull of pelvis and gasp. Every time I arch, you answer. Every time I beg, you deliver. I ache and you reply. Not just once but again and again, until nothing is left but satisfaction. Your hands are fluent in truth, speaking into places where my silence once lived. I don't need to form the questions aloud anymore. You read them in my breath, in the twitch of my hips, in the way my legs spread like pages opening themselves to be read. You don't hesitate. You trace my answers into my skin with devotion, with reverence, with heat that lingers long after you leave your mark. I reach for you because you're the only one who knows how to answer without asking for clarity, without judgment. My moans are your guide. You follow them like prayers, devout and unrelenting. I grind against your hand like it's the only thing tethering me to this world. And when I cry out, your name is the only word I know. Every sound I make is an offering, and you take them with your mouth, with your fingers, with your body. You build your reply inside me, thrust by thrust, until I forget I ever had questions. All that remains is you, your heat, your rhythm, your answer, pulsing through every inch of me. The way you move inside me feels like an answer I didn't realize I'd begged for. My body blooms under you, spreading wider, opening further, because I know you'll fill every empty space. You thrust not just with lust but with knowledge, with awareness of every sigh I've given, every moment I hesitated, every place I ever held back. And still you take me, still you speak to me in the only language I need. The push and slide of desire, the moan caught at the back of your throat, the fire in your eyes when you see me fall apart. I cry out, and you thrust harder. I beg, and you slow down, drawing out the ache until I'm weeping with need. And when you come with a growl, your mouth pressed against my throat, I feel your answer flood through me. It's not just pleasure, it's connection, it's recognition. You see me, you feel me, you give me what no one else could. Answers soaked in sweat and love, in ruin and grace. You're not just a lover, you're the response to everything I've ever craved. When you lay beside me after, your fingers brushing the sweat from my brow, I feel the echo of every answer you gave me still trembling inside. My thighs are slick with your truth, my chest rising in slow satisfied rhythm. You don't need to ask if I'm okay. You already know, you already read every exhale like a thank you, every hum like a praise. I curl into you still buzzing with your touch, still ripe with the heat of your devotion. There's no ache left, only fullness, only the memory of how thoroughly you replied. You tuck your face against my neck, and I feel your breath, soft, steady, safe. And I think this is the only answer I'll ever need. Not just the sex, not just the moans or the way you tore the silence from me, but this quiet after, where everything stills, where my body no longer questions its worth, where your hands don't stop holding me. I asked, and you came. I trembled, and you steadied. I reached, and you answered, over and over, until I believed. And when the night returns with its familiar ache, I won't fear it. I'll wait for you to come close again, to whisper against the curve of my jaw, to press your answer into my waiting hips. I'll ask with parted lips, with legs spread like a question in the dark, and you'll respond like always, like fire, like thunder, like something holy, because you are the answer, the only one that ever mattered. And my body, every inch of it remembers you.